All right, welcome everyone to our mega live stream, and we're streaming at an amazing time. The market cannot be any better. The discounts are stacking up right now on the market. I think, I think as we started the stream, I think people were like completely surprised how Ethereum and everything's gone. But we have our friends here. We have plan with both the folks from ChainGuardian and pNetwork. So the structure of this, I think a lot of people coming here and watching the stream will definitely be surprised, a little bit surprised at how down the market has moved. We are moving up quite a bit, so like some people like the bounce is coming, but obviously I think it's kind of actually a good time to have some different voices to discuss what is happening, and also, of course, what's happening with ChainGuardians and NFT scene. So this is going to be a super packed episode. I think a lot of us, we prepared all this stuff, and then I realized, we definitely have to address the market at some point because, as we streamed this, like literally an hour before the stream, we had this massive crash happening. So I think, we have to address the elephant in the room first. So this is a live stream, so everything here is live. So if you guys want to have any questions and to ask anyone from this, please do shoot your questions down and we'll try to ask this. And I think the good thing here is that a lot of us in this group are quite experienced as well. So I think that's some of the differences here, because I mean, if you're building a project and if you're building out in a space, you definitely know a little bit. So that's the best part of this. So I guess we'll go around the table. So we got Robbie, Noi, Edon, and Thomas coming here. And I guess it's kind of good time to just start sharing your backgrounds, how we got started, and our current take on the market. So I guess I'll start with Robbie because you're right next to me. So Robbie, how's it going? What's your story? Make us feel better, sir.
Wow. Okay. Make you feel better in under these conditions, Michael. I appreciate you coming to me for the first response here. I'll tell you. Okay, I've got a story that'll make you feel better. Thomas was just telling us backstage that he bought ETH at 60 cents and he sold at $3. So if I sold a lot at $3. So if that doesn't make you feel better, having seen this crash, then maybe not a lot will. So we always are super bullish long term, and obviously we're hopeful for that quick recovery. So hopefully that will give people a little bit of a tiny smidgen of a fuzzy feeling inside themselves. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I got involved with the crypto at a very opportune moment, pre last bull run, 2017, and really I came into the market with quite a little experience. I did a lot of investment, a lot of research, and then I managed to somehow turn a few £100 into quite a lot more through what people would call poo tokens, and I was quite happy with that. And then I got the metaphorical PTSD that everyone talks about, last bull run PTSD. So
is this bringing it back? Is today's market bringing some of that PTSD back today?
Well, I think.
Or was it worse? I mean,
well, once bitten, twice shy. So I think a lot of people who have gone through a full cycle now will hopefully have started doing some dollar cost averaging out, right? And if this is your first time, and then it's like you're feeling a little bit like, oh my god, like what is going on, or even you bought at what is the perceived top. I mean, history doesn't always repeat, but it certainly rhymes, right? And what we always know is that typically that even at the very bottom of the new bull runs, the low is higher, and each cycle comes round. And I'm not even saying that we're out of this bull run. It's a big correction, but it's too early to probably say we're out of the bull as well. So, I think there's reason to be optimistic at any stage when you become involved in crypto. You just have to take the harsh lessons.
Do you remember the flash crash? This was an event in 2017 where ETH dropped down to, I think, literally from $300 to cents, right? So this happened on GDAX. Were you there for that event? Because that was my first leverage position that I just got completely wiped out on, right? It was just obliteration.
Yep. So I mean, I was there, but I feel like I kind of didn't massively realize it because I was still very fresh, and I think it was a particular exchange, right? And I think that mostly, my holdings of ETH at the time was pretty much on like some of the bigger exchanges, so I didn't really, and I wasn't leveraging. I'm more of like a buy and a holder, and like wait for years and whatever. So yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense. All right, we got Noi as well coming in. So Noi, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and your experience and what your take on this is?
Yeah, absolutely. It's I'm sure it's shocking to everybody. This is kind of a scary thing, but to me, it's kind of, I'm so new to this whole thing. I am just an artist that happens to be working for a crypto company. So I do remember 2017 and all that, but I really wasn't that interested back then. You can't even compare this to that. I guess the only thing I would say is just play the long game, right? Everything's gonna be okay, man. Like it's like this cryptocurrency. Come on, guys.
Welcome. And I think Edon as well. I mean, Edon, you've been in this space. You're a collector of NFTs. That's why you started. And I think when I talked to you last, you consider NFTs in terms of ETH prices, right? So in terms of ETH prices, they're still the same, right? So
except like he's a whale. He's a whale when he considers ETH. ETH is just ETH, man. That's the mentality of your NFT whales, right? And that I don't like and ETH's ETH.
Yeah, that's my measuring stick. It's ETH, and except when my wife tells me, it's like, oh, you just spent like 20 ETH on that, and like how much is that now versus what you got it? Yeah, I have quite a few spaceship that's up there. Spaceship NFT. Yeah, so this is essentially my third cycle. I came in around 2015 doing mining. And I think it went up to when I got in was around like $300. It went down to 100 Bitcoin, and then it shoots up to 1,000. And sold most of my. It was like, oh, 1 Bitcoin equal 1 ounce of gold. I'm like, okay, buy the gold, and then and then it shoots up to 10,000. Lost a lot of money in Cryptopia when they got hacked. So
hey, so did you get the email? It came out last week. Yo, you can fill in some forms. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it came out last week. Yeah.
Okay, I'll check those forms because I definitely had quite a bit that's locked up there.
Cryptopia whales. Yeah. All right, I see where it's coming from. Got it. Yeah. Got it. Now we got Thomas here too. Thomas coming from pNetwork. You guys are doing something incredibly powerful. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your background and what you're doing as well in this space?
Yeah, sure. I mean, as most people here have been around for like in this space for a while, so this is not the first market crash I see. And I think after a few years, you like start feeling almost nothing, right? Like it becomes net. It's part of the game.
Almost.
Yeah.
But we do have a comment that says, Camille says, the guests don't look very happy. Smile, guys. They just checked their portfolio. But I think we're used to it. I think that the biggest change is like we expect this, we're used to it, but when it happens, you can't stop your brain from thinking, oh my God, this is like I just crashed like 8 cars right now.
At the same time, you can like you keep saying, yeah, I knew it would have happened. So it's my opportunity to buy back. Don't be emotional. Just follow the plan. And I mean myself, I've been working in this space since 2012. So 9 years now. I remember when I entered the market. Actually, my first Bitcoin I bought on Bitstamp, and it was at $10. And it had just crashed like a couple of months before, and everyone was saying like it's over. Now Bitcoin, I think it reached 60 or something like that, and then it went down to 6 or 8, and it bounced back, and I bought at 10. And in the following weeks, I remember everyone was saying, oh wow, it's recovering, so it's because the institutionals are coming. So 2013 must be the year, so institutionals come. And this narrative has kept actually becoming more and more real over the years. So
yeah. I mean, it's the same story, but I do see that this year there's such a huge explosion in. It's such a different climate. I think if you've been, I've been in a $10 Bitcoin times too, and I think there was a lot of doubt. Like I was a time when I read the, I listened to Peter Schiff and I'll be like, oh yeah, Bitcoin's going to go to zero sometime. Let me sell at $15. I made that mistake too, but there was definitely, I think these few years is a lot more apparent that this type of technology is moving up. And there's a lot more use cases for this, which are extremely powerful. And obviously, of course, talking about what Edon is doing with NFTs and with the whole ChainGuardian space, now it's bringing the masses into this, right? Because before back in the day, we had to do like a 3-hour lecture about what is what is the value, what is the meaning of money, like that would be like one of the conversations. But then now you can bring up a bunch of heroes, you can bring a bunch of collectibles, and it's so much easier to allow people to understand. In fact, I just watched a video recently by Johnny Harris, who does a lot of really awesome videos, and he does a lot of talk about NFTs, right? He did a whole episode on NFTs, what it is, NFTs explained, this whole hype, this whole fever. And, I don't think I would have expected that, all the way back, this is this view with 1.3 million views, right? On this, explaining what an NFT is, what NFT art, and of course, we have ChainGuardians, Edon here that's doing this, where like it's so much more accessible when you relate to heroes, when you relate to, say, like if there's a Binance hero, there's Guardian. Sorry, I shouldn't use our word Guardian. That's the correct word for it.
Okay, Michael. We do consider them blockchain superheroes, right? So
they are heroes.
Superheroes. Yeah, absolutely.
And you can see that, like, now you can start, people can start, okay, look, this is art, this is a non-fungible art, this is something that people can collect and something that people can trade and sell and eventually play with in video games, right? So now it brings that down to this planet. So I guess, Edon, I'll give you a little bit of time to kind of explain what you're doing in this space, and then how you see that going. I mean, I think probably one of the most obvious questions is, like, where is this NFT space going?
Yeah, thank you. So I think one of the key thing is being NFT from 2017, which is pretty much when the first NFT games started appearing. I think throughout that, early on, it's very difficult to make NFT just because the whole ecosystem isn't as mature. These days, you start seeing making NFT has become a lot easier. You can make it out of a factory. But I think there's two distinct different types of NFT. You have one that's fully on the blockchain, which means you can play the entire game on the blockchain. And then you have ones which is kind of like, you see more and more of these traditional games turning their assets into NFT only. So they might be missing a few elements. I think there's a clear distinction where some of them will be using kind of the chain technology directly. So I consider those kind of to be more really exploring with the latest technology. Versus kind of everyone just following because the space is hot. So as being kind of looking to both sides, we explore a lot of new technology, including people that's kind of doing the scalings, like the engine. You have the Immutable X. You have a lot of projects doing the scaling. And so at the end of the day, I think what's very interesting is because we are kind of putting all the feelers out there, we can kind of see, hey, these projects are getting more traction versus not. As an example, we started working with Polygon Matic 2 years ago. And back then, it's, it took some time to make it happen, but these days they're just very smooth. So therefore, you kind of know which projects are really getting traction or not. So I think that really makes a big difference versus I think a lot of newer projects coming in, they might be leaning towards one tech versus another because there is some marketing dollar support behind it. So I think it's something very interesting, being able to really look at each technology very, very much and to figure out, hey, what are kind of the key tech? And one obviously being one of our latest and newest partners and on the show with us today is a pNetwork because it really enables a lot of tech, which we'll talk about a little bit later.
Okay, but I think zooming out a little bit, right, beyond the tech, all right, where do you see the space going? Do you see that this is going to be something that people collect, Do you see video games becoming a key aspect of that? Obviously, you're building a video game element out, right? How do you see that working together? Like the multiverse becoming an element? What's your vision on this for NFTs?
So my background and why I got into this space is being original Magic the Gathering. I have the first, the Pokemon card collection, and then obviously all the way from, I started in the revised and unlimited edition of Magic the Gathering, which is, all the way from, I guess this is
fifth edition for me. So you're a little bit older. You're a little bit older. You're a little bit more OG. I started fifth.
So then I think what's interesting is even back then you have the concept of counterfeit, because I've been playing Magic Gathering cards, and my best friend back then in my high school, he just went to photocopy it and then he put it into these sleeves, because the thing is when you play the cards, it's like you want to be mint, so like you're like, oh, don't touch my card, but the fact that he photocopied it, so it's like, how do you know it's really real or not? Because he putting all this like plastic or like
So you had this sleazy friend that photocopied their cards to play.
So if you obviously I won't go into all the details of blockchain, but blockchain really solve all this. So all of a sudden you really have real collectible. You can prove the history. There's kind of no way to really kind of counterfeit. So because of that, you add that to the gaming. I really think this is really 100% going to revolutionize the gaming industry in general, because you're adding real collectability plus the video game industry all into one. And then because there's a standard and immutable, these assets is going to last forever. So all of a sudden you can play. It's like, imagine taking Magic Gathering, the Pokemon cards, and maybe like Star Trek. And I was recently looking at this, went to the store yesterday, a comic book store, Legend of Five Rings. So that came out early on. So you can imagine like just getting all of those cards and they can interplay together and they can evolve. So I think 100% going to change the entire video game industry in my view.
I think so. I think there's a certain element of that there. And I think like the public being discovering this is very cool. And I think there's a lot to do with both for video games. And today I was actually thinking a lot with like property and land. And I think this is something that can really push the frontier forward. So I guess focusing on the video game side of everything, do you want to play the video of what you have to just make this quite clear to the audience here? You have to share screen though. So let me see if that works from a
Robbie, do you want to do the video? Because
yeah, sure, no problem.
Robbie will do the video. You don't mind passing him the video?
Let me just. So this is actually an exclusive. We have not yet released this. Now I am hoping, Michael, that you can hear the sound through this, right?
Wait, no. So you go share, and then you can share a video file on the platform, and so you can click share the video file. That will work and directly plug into what we're having now. So not on your screen, but share on the video file. See if that works. Or I can send it to me. But yeah, you should be able to share it.
I'll tell you what. I'll send to you, Michael, if that's okay. I'll make it easier.
All right, cool. Let's get this on. Let's get this shared.
So it's an exclusive. We've been working on this a few months, and so people will be getting to see like our updated, like our new game video trailer for the impending release of the full RPG, which we're totally hyped about, to be honest with you. Play to earn, like, was just not far away from being switched on at all. So excited by this.
Just give me 1 second to download it, and then we are good to go. Give me 1 second, please. And then we are So I'm just gonna get. I'm making sure that there's sound on this. So let me just.
That's why I shared with you, Michael.
You are smart, sir. You are smart. You are smart. All right, let's put that in. All right, now here we go. And just give me 3 seconds for this to load, and we are good. Just give me a few seconds. All right, there we go. All right, let's do that now.
It is the year 2073. The cryptoverse is a war zone. We are the defenders, leaders, and protectors of our universe. We are the ChainGuardians.
Nice. Looks pretty awesome, man. Pretty awesome. I saw Binance fighting Matic at some point.
Yeah, Binance versus Mudra, right? So that's pretty hype.
Is that foretelling a story to happen? That's gonna happen very soon.
Yeah, I mean, I think you maybe saw PvP mode there, right? And the idea is that everybody has these with guardians, which are superheroes that represent the different blockchains and universe, like crypto projects, and they all are capable of fighting one another. So yeah, we're pretty excited about it. We've got an awesome community who really enjoy it. So yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
it haven't happened yet until like you actually bridging across the two. Not yet, but I can imagine like Binance is like send the army and Mudra is like his other side. It's coming. We're building a bridge. The bridge is coming up.
And tell me about this bridge. So what's happening? So I mean, one of the key advances here is the portals that's happening right now, right? So that's kind of the latest development, right? So can you kind of describe what's happening?
Yeah, I'll give it a start first, and Thomas can definitely help chime in. So I think
I don't. Sorry to interrupt you. Michael, might be worth mentioning. I think that the number 3 Mixie that we're auctioning is due to finish in a few minutes, so it might be worth checking in on that.
Wait, when we jump into that, and we'll come back to the portal. You want to talk about that because it's like 10 minutes away.
All right, can you guys share the screen for that then?
Go for it, I don't.
Oh, the Mixie screen. I don't. I can talk about it. Do you have it on the screen?
Let
the
me
link to it. There's a tiny URL on it.
There is a tiny URL.
I can get. I can definitely share that.
Hold on one second.
Share screen. Do not show these tips. Okay.
Mixie 3.
Can you guys see my screen?
Have you got it?
I think so. Is anything showing?
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So let me add it. So you're sure that it's okay to share, right? Just in case there's no top secret on there.
Yeah, I hope so.
All right. There we go. All right, guys.
There we go. So we Treasure Island is made by Daggle. So they're one of the marketplace for Binance Smart Chain. We do have our Mixie, which is the pancake swap character. He is on auction today on Treasure Island. So there is about 15 minutes left to go to be able to bid. Just FYI, just like how ETH it is to wrap ETH, because on Binance Smart Chain, BNB is the native token. So therefore, you will have to wrap your BNB in order for you to bid. Rob, you want to talk more about what's here?
Yeah, I mean, so there's a whole kind of story behind Mixie, and we could kind of go on further a little bit with it, but obviously we worked with PancakeSwap really closely, and we create obviously guardians and different characters for the different chains and or projects, and Mixie is essentially obviously in line with the chef theme that the PancakeSwap devs have, the anonymous devs, and you've got essentially. They're all like Chef Hops, Chef Bugs, and Chef Chungus, and all kind of like rabbits and or hares, whatever you want to call. So obviously, Noi could probably talk a little bit more about the art here, but Chef Mixie is definitely a fan favorite, and she was essentially created, or the only way to get Mixie is to essentially stake to a one-of-a-kind syrup pool on PancakeSwap, where you can earn the Mix BEP20 token. It's kind of going a little bit technical here, but the idea is that basically you have to go through some crypto stuff. You have to stake to get the fractionalized token. Then you come to this website that's been shown, and you can redeem a Mixie NFT on the Binance Smart Chain. As per this screen Idon's just showing now, when you've got enough mix, and it's on a deflationary model. So there was number 1, 2, and 3 was pre-minted. 2 was given to PancakeSwap. Number 3 is as per all. We always raffle that off, auction that off, and all of the proceeds are donated to Binance Smart Binance. They're covered. Their charity for against COVID and for Lunch for Children. And the number 1 with its unique abilities is also auctioned off as part of the live streams that we do. So she's also got some like really unique law behind her, in the sense that when we was on PancakeSwap and they have to do their vote, because obviously it's like decentralized governance, and within the last like 30 seconds some guy with like 2 million worth of cake voted against us, whereas there was like 98% vote. So we created this kind of law to make fun of this and light of this, whereby essentially, you know, it was Mixie versus the whale, you know, the pancake whale. Yeah, which is quite fun. Yeah, so we essentially the chefs were amazing. They were like, this has never happened before. People can't be bothered to vote because they have to unstake and rah rah rah. And basically, you know, they resubmitted the proposal for CGG and for Mix to be put onto PancakeSwap, and I believe it got the most amount of votes ever.
Wow!
On
the community came back. The community struck and said, "You know what? We want this rabbit."
Exactly right. Yeah.
Nice,
so
nice.
we were super chuffed with that, and this is the number one that's on sale now. I wonder if how many people have figured out how to use the Dego marketplace, because it's quite new, and obviously the bidding's in Rat BNB. So usually about this time the sale price is much higher, and I just think it's probably because people are not too affiliated with figuring out how to get the Rat BNB and bid, because quite frankly, you know, I want this number one Mixie really, really badly. And I don't imagine it will go for this price. And if it does, I might have
Mixie number one, right? Mixie number one. I need to ninja that off. Then.
Yeah, I need to ninja that off as well. I'm just
do you want to put a link there for people who are interested?
Yeah, sure.
There's two links. That we have some tiny URL as well. Where do we post the link? Just via the string here.
Yep. You can put it just put it on the string. You can also type it into YouTube during the live stream. That also works.
Yeah, sure.
Wow.
What I'll do is I'll put a link to the tweet, and at the bottom of this tweet, you can see both tiny URLs to the different auctions that are ongoing at the moment.
All right. So that's happening. Okay, Edon, talk about talk about what's happening. Let's Sorry, because we're kind of mixing two things a little bit today, just because with so much content that's being pumped out. So the main thing, what we're doing, so we're now shifting our focus back from Mixie to the portals. So essentially, portals are a bridge. You have your bridge, which you send your token across to another chain. Because the bridge itself, you're only sending token. Portals also send metadata. So if you need to send your NFTs across to a different blockchain, you have to use essentially what both pNetwork and us, we are calling portals. So essentially, it's a way which you can move NFT across chains. Why don't we introduce Thomas? And Thomas, you want to talk a little bit more about the portal? Maybe introduce yourself a little bit here.
Yeah, why not? So so basically, the pNetwork is born to address like the huge fragmentation that we see in this space, with several blockchains that are continuously introduced, and liquidity users that just look around for where the best opportunity is, where cheaper transactions are, and they got used to setting up new wallets, moving from one to the other, and things like that. This is a lot of friction for the average Joe. It's not super trivial, and I mean, let's be frank, all this complexity and all these different blockchains to the end user don't really matter much, and they eventually they are meant to disappear. Like, users shouldn't see all this complexity or these different blockchains. They should just be able to use the blockchain. And I often like explaining to newcomers what happened over the years regarding all these blockchains, because at the beginning we just had Bitcoin, and this was the blockchain, so there was just one blockchain, and then some forks of Bitcoin starting being invented. There was Namecoin for basically for registering a domain name on the blockchain, or your things that today you do with ENS basically. Then there were things like Litecoin, for cheap transactions and fast transactions. And, those were called altcoins, and, alternative blockchains, alternative coins, because the main blockchain was Bitcoin. So over the years, we saw Ethereum being invented and smarter blockchains coming out that were increasingly giving more flexibility to users. So Ethereum, we have seen, has basically driven the market growth in a way of 2017 with ICOs and the ICO craze and all these projects basically building on top of Ethereum. So today we're in a situation where basically the main blockchains like Bitcoin and Ethereum are super congested because people transact a lot. And they are massively used, and transacting is so expensive. Then for some use cases, it's not really feasible anymore to transact there. Like today, I was sending some tokenized dollars, like Tethers, from one address to Binance, and I spent $300 of fee just to send a transaction. I mean, that's crazy, right? And I remember, like, just 3 years ago, people from Ethereum were mostly complaining to the Bitcoin community, saying, yeah, transacting of Bitcoin is like impossible today. You spend $20 to send a transaction. I mean, okay, I just spent 10 times more.
Jokes on you. 2021 is coming here. Like, yeah, jokes on you. Yeah, anything less than $100. Yeah.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah. So you had so you saw the there were congestion, and then how did you kind of build around that?
Yeah, so basically what the pNetwork does is it tries to break down all these walled gardens we have with these blockchains that are not really able to speak with each other, and it tries to create a universal ecosystem where the different blockchains can interact with each other in a way that is completely hidden to the user. So what does it mean? Well, that basically users can choose one blockchain, the one they like the most, the one they are familiar with, the one they already have, and they can use it as basically their blockchain of choice to access anything on any blockchain. So this is what I think and what we believe as a team the blockchain should look like, meaning many projects on different blockchains, but accessible from anywhere, without restrictions. So it's not that you have, Bitcoin on the Bitcoin blockchain, Ethereum just on ETH, PancakeSwap just on BSC. I mean, all these tools, all these tokens should be able to seamlessly interoperate. And this is what we are building with the pNetwork. So with the pNetwork, we enable, for instance, Bitcoin on the Binance Smart Chain. So you can deposit Bitcoins there and trade Bitcoins there. Or you can have Dogecoin on Ethereum. Or you can use CGG, the CGG token, on BSC. But also, all these kind of tokens you can use on EOS, on Polygon, on any blockchain. And portals are basically a critical component because portals extend this concept and they make it applicable not just for tokens, but for any application. So think of an application. It can be, Uniswap. It could be an NFT game. It could be a DAO. All those apps that we are building on one blockchain via portals could be made accessible from any other blockchain. So you just could, for instance, we have a DAO, the pNetwork DAO, which is live on Ethereum. Via portal, you could use it from BSC, maybe because it's cheaper to transact on BSC. Or,
So you're doing that with portals, and this is moving assets across different blockchains, right? So this is the whole idea of interoperability, right? Having the same assets, and we kind of see that already. So we see a little bit of that. You can cross the Binance bridge. How does this differ from just like, say, crossing the Binance bridge or crossing the Matic bridge in that case?
Well, the idea is that the system is completely automated and very secure and transparent. Now, I'll not dive into the technical details, but basically most bridges that you can see out there have some kind of trusted components, and we minimize them as much as possible. And we are continuously making the system more and more secure. So this is something that is quite critical. And another major difference is that you can actually send not just value, but also data. So this is useful for making portals. Like when you move an NFT, you're not really moving a fungible token. You're moving something different. Or when you participate into a DAO from a different blockchain, you may not even send a token around. You are just sending an instruction to the blockchain saying, please cast a vote. I've chosen to vote X on that voting proposal. The DAO is on Ethereum, but I want to cast the vote from BSC, right? So all this kind of information flowing around is what the pNetwork bridges have, which is very different from what things like the Binance bridge, for instance, have. Those bridges are just built for ERC20 tokens or for moving tokenized assets, basically. While portals are much more flexible. They are at a different degree. They can move information, they can move data other than just value. And this is critical for making really cross-chain applications, which we think will be really a big thing in the coming months.
For sure.
Michael, I just want to add a few more highlights. First of all, I think Thomas is a little bit modest when he said he's building, but it's actually built. So the bridges are working. Personally, all my Bitcoin is on pNetwork BTC. I trust it much more than WBTC, which is somewhat centralized. So if you want a decentralized version of your Bitcoin on Ethereum, like pBTC is the bridge to use between Bitcoin and on Ethereum. It's also on BSC. So I feel very safe with that. The other thing I think Thomas was saying is that this technology is different, and to your question, Michael, it's different than the native bridge, which BSC have built, the Matic have built, because that is only enabled between one network and another. What pNetwork token does is you can actually move it to any network, even if they're not even if they're off EVM. You can move to EOS, you can move between Bitcoin to Ethereum, and all of that is already working. So I think that fundamentally makes a big difference.
That's cool. We have recently announced our partnership also with Algorand and with other blockchains. So we are integrating, with an increasing number of blockchains. We have 9 right now and approximately 50 bridges running. But this is increasingly, extending and becoming bigger and bigger. So yeah. Also, anyone can become a part of the network. So if you stake like PNT tokens, you can actually become a node operator and you can participate to the securing of the network and get a chunk of, a part of the fees that are used by the bridge.
That's awesome, man. Because that's what the issue was when I did my due diligence on Wrap BTC. It's incredibly centralized, right? It's pretty much dictated by what the set of employees, the
regulated.
So this is a much better solution where there's you don't have a central point of failure, and it crosses a lot more blockchains. So this is pretty much the way it's going.
And I want to talk about in today's situation. If you want to trade, you can see, because price changes, you want to arbitrage. Now, the biggest problem right now, you have the current bridges. If I want to arbitrage, I need to move my coin from BSC back to Ethereum, then I can go to Matic. Now, what if you have a bridge between BSC and Matic? So this is already possible with technology. Yeah, you can now go through where you came from, the same bridge, right? Because that's why it's portal, because you don't have to cross back the bridge into the other bridge. You can just portal anywhere. And fundamentally, on top of that, we're building, you can stream data, because we, with ChainGuardians, we like to put everything into kind of story and lore. So the difference between sending, is a difference almost like sending. Imagine you have a spaceship and you're on Earth. You want to send a currency, so you just send, the numbers over. But building the portal, which means sending the data, is like building the transporter, right? Like where you're Star Trek, you have to send all your bio data to the other side, so you can recreate yourself on the other end. So it's kind of in the lore perspective, we're also sending all this data across the different chain. So it's very, very powerful. We obviously been around for a long time and super excited and passionate that this is all working, because I think fundamentally it's going to make a difference in DeFi as well as make a difference obviously in the NFT and gaming space.
I think so too. I think, this is something that we're seeing right now where it's pretty abundantly clear that a single blockchain is not going to be the solution, right? I think that's going to be for the next 5 to 10 years. We're going to have a lot of different blockchains and a lot of solutions, whether it's layer 1 side chains or whatnot. So we already have a lot of development on Ethereum, and we have other narratives coming in. Like recently, Polygon Matic is blowing up, and then we have Binance Smart Chain. Basically everything that's a Guardian right now is quite hot right now. So I would definitely applaud you guys for getting in on these this early and thinking about this. So now with the portal, you can easily move assets, including NFTs, across these bridges. So you don't have to be bound by one blockchain, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. So when is this gonna happen? What so say if I buy Mixie 1, so I think Mixie 1 is already sold right now, right? Let me check that up. So I think the ending bid was 15. So like bid snipers came at the last minute to buy this up. So it's ending at 15. So how would this person, like, so whoever bought this, can they cross back to Ethereum and list that on elsewhere, or they can how does that happen?
Yeah, so we have built a portal that would move between Ethereum and BSC. One of the other tech we're trying to do is actually make it very interesting, allow you to move from Ethereum to BSC to Matic and back to Ethereums. So you don't have to necessarily cross the bridge. So so the portal we have already is up moving our Ethereum assets to BSC. So I actually want to show that on a maybe just share my screen again and show you guys what that looked like. So what we decided to launch as the very first one is allowing our traditional, all of our other Guardian characters to move from Ethereum to BSC just because you want to move from high gas location to lower gas. So given Mixie's already on BSC, that will come soon. But currently, I do want to show you guys the live portal site. So this is kind of cool. So essentially, can you guys see my screen?
Let me just throw that on. All right, boom.
Yep, is it up? Okay, so essentially the portal website is portal.ChainGuardians. We have up here, obviously designed a UI around it. There's actually two versions of the portal. You can natively on pNetwork's website also have the portal. We decided to build an entire UI around it. So we have an entire portal here, which you connect your wallet. And after you connect your wallet through your usual MetaMask, you can retrieve your list of characters. And from that, you can then move that across to the other portal. Now, I think I don't have any live asset on this particular wallet. And because also, I guess today with the Ethereum price going pretty crazy, we decided to use a video instead, just because we didn't, I think 500 gig away is going to cost a little bit of time. But I do want to show the live link, like portal.chainguardian.io/transfer. All the information is there. We got a really cool UI, which you can drag and drop. You can see your assets on both sides. And eventually what we're actually building on top of this is you can actually start having multiple different chains. You can see your assets across multiple chains. I think fundamentally that's going to be very interesting, because it's almost like you not remembering where your NFT is. So that's why I think this technology is definitely going to really flourish in the future, which means, hey, I want a single location. I want to see all my NFT across all network. So if you don't have this portal tech, or you don't have this tech across multi-chain, you're going to lose track of your assets once you do multi-chain. So this is the beginning of kind of where all this gonna come all in place. So instead of doing it live, if the site is fully working, so anyone who has ChainGuardian NFT, you can now move it to Binance Smart Chain, and you can move it back. I want to kind of just play through this video. I can talk through it. So instead of running the gas, it is exactly the same site. You can look, it's pretty much the same.
The gas fees are a little bit insane right now, right? Yeah. You're going to be spending thousands of dollars on gas at this current point. Yeah. Right, so you can drag and drop your hero, transfer to BSC. So CZ is going to move back. CZ is going back home, right?
Yep. Yes, the world. He's going to bring an army of the over.
Right. So that's kind of through the portal. So this is an asset that's native to Ethereum moving to Binance Smart Chain.
Correct.
Awesome. That's really awesome. So how long does it take normally?
It really depends on the gas prices. I mean, from ETH to BSC, it typically, it typically takes a few minutes, to be honest. But on
Right.
the way back from BSC to ETH, it does tend to take a little bit longer. Again, it just depends on like the node sync, which Thomas may be able to speak to a little bit more.
Okay. Yeah. So that's a recorded demonstration, right?
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
so a
In
few minutes.
reality, it's gonna take maybe like 10 minutes or so moving to
Right.
BSC. Moving back, you may take a little bit longer. It also, again, depends on the gas condition on Ethereum, but definitely within a few hours, you'll be there.
Yeah, at like around now 666 Gwei, if you're willing to pay that
We
price.
didn't want to demo the 1,000 gas live. And we did reverse video too. So once you have it on this time again, you notice this time again on the top it says BSC on the left hand side, and then entering, and we kind of colored it a little bit, right? The space is on the red versus the blue here, back to kind of where I guess you can call Ethereum is more like Earth to us, and I guess BSC is another world of its own. So it's exactly the same process, and you just move it back and forth. So eventually we're going to build this site out even more so that you can have multi-chain. You can see all your assets across it. Not only do we enable this technology together with pNetwork just for all assets, we are also helping anyone who's part of the NFT mining ecosystem, which is, we have an NFT mining game, which Robbie will talk more later on. Then you can actually move, we're helping our partners together with pNetwork to build this out for anyone else who want to move the NFT across. I think there's a huge demand for it, because if you have assets on Ethereum, trading it or sending it across to someone else is going to cost you $100. So you might as well move it into BSC, and then you can more freely send or to put it on Treasure Island, as an example, which you can do auction.
Refinable. It's coming soon.
Treasure. It is coming soon, yeah. And obviously we have a fantastic relationship with Refinable as well. So in terms of actually, just sorry to jump in there and to jet hide on, just to link back to the kind of whole Mixi law as well, and it all links into the kind of the work that we're doing with Refinable, the work that we were doing with Thomas at pNetwork, and the work that we did with PancakeSwap. It's all to do with, it's all linked with the Binance Smart Chain ecosystem, right? Actually, for those that voted, to pass the second, pool, and there was a lot of people, we're actually minting a really cool piece of artwork, which was like a comic that Noi did, and I basically wrote the law for, and we're on Refinable, and we're going to airdrop it to everybody who voted for the wallets. Yeah, so I want to, if you don't mind, I just want to see if I can show you really quickly the artwork for that. Let me just see if I can find it.
I'll try to stop sharing some. Yeah.
Yep. I can see it down here, so I can put it up. So, yeah. So, Noi, are you okay?
I'm good. I didn't even know this was happening, so this is all news to me.
I just want to mention, like, all of these tech, it's not we built it overnight, right? We've been building this around, more than a year or two to make all this really happen today. So, like, stuff with Polygon, we started working together. It was, 1 or 2 years ago. I'm pretty sure Thomas and the whole pNetwork started much earlier than that. And today it's actually mature technology, which we can actually, we always, like, when we first started, it's like, we're going to send a hero over, right? Like, Binance is the first one that's going to charge across the portal. It's really, that's so ChainGuardian, because, like, we have the portal, and then you have, like, moving stuff across, and then you got to pick, like, the perfect hero to go through from Ethereum to Binance. Who else better than Binance Seal? So I think it's a really interesting thing where, like, mature technology.
And it takes a lot of effort. It does take a lot of effort and time, and to really get this done. I think it's kind of crazy how you guys managed to get the right tech along the way. You guys definitely see Matic is just heating up like crazy right now. So just planting that seed down and getting that executed. It's not an easy task, right? So definitely give you guys a lot of kudos for that for this. So do you have the video up for us, Robbie? All right, I'm gonna add it to a stream right now. All right, boom.
Yeah, so this you'll see is just a piece of artwork that we produced and went onto our homepage when obviously we was kind of outvoted the last second by this whale, and we have this like story law where basically she has a boxing match with this whale and beats him up kind of thing, and I have an image here as well which sort of shows our beloved Mixi is in dire need of your help. She's being held captive by a cake whale. she was all set to frolic about in the lush Binance Smart Chain forest until one whale voted against a proposal to create syrup pools. So we kind of wrote a bit of lore around that and a little bit of a poem and stuff. And essentially, this artwork here is what we're going to mint on Refinable Binance Smart Chain, and we're going to airdrop to all the wallets that voted in the huge success for the second pool that came through. And for the kind of top 3 wallets, we have a little bit of I think we said either top 3 or top 5. We have a comic strip, a piece of artwork that we're going to mint and airdrop to them as a special thank you as well.
And I think it's so good that like 2 things, right? It's like one, commemorate events. I mean, maybe today the massive crash can be also commemorated, but also like writing a story. I think that's kind of cool. And a good thing is that crypto community has so much support for this, right? Building the story out, you actually receive a lot of support along the way, and I think this is one of the best cases where you see development being pushed along by the community and at various stages. I've been in game development for some time, and the old habit was to only show things when they're ready. But I think it's actually much better to bring people on board. This whole idea of early access, bringing people on board. But even before that, you can have NFTs to commemorate events, and people can kind of, the whole journey of building out a game is actually already an adventure, right? So people can be part of that adventure pretty early. So I think that's pretty cool. Anyways.
Yeah, I just wanted to, I mean, that's a massive part of what we're doing. When we started in this space, it was like, there was like, you had this amazing disruptive technology, but no excitement, because there was no story, there was nothing to immerse you into it. There was no like really high quality artworks at the time. It was kind of pixelated and whatever else. And so that's like a huge part of the value that we look to bring, with like the amazing artwork and the story. And I just managed to find this. This is the piece of artwork that will be dropping to the the 5 top.
Do you want to zoom in a little bit?
Sure.
No cake for you.
Yeah. So you've kind of got, I'm going to have cakes tonight. I'm going to have pancakes for tea tonight. Yum, yum. With tasty sweet syrup. And then this whale comes along. He's like, no cake for you. And then, it's like, chefs, that nasty whale said I couldn't have cake and dumped me in syrup. And then, you got this little caption like, will Mixie ever get cake? Find out in the next episode. And we're just kind of waiting for myself and Noi to actually get our heads together to complete the follow-up little comic strip there as well, and it's just like you say, it's commemorating the event. And it was a first for the the chefs over at Pancake Swap too. So they really liked what we did here as well, to basically just bring people back together and say, look, these things happen, let's enjoy the ride, kind of thing. And yeah,
absolutely. Okay, so that's happening. And do you guys want to just kind of wrap up everything that's happening with ChainGuardians? And then I think we have the giveaway as well, concluding this session. We got people like, obviously, I saw a few comments as well up here. So I think to answer a few questions, Shobo Baggins asked, so is ChainGuardians on Polygon, BSC, or both? So just to answer some Q&A questions here.
Idon, do you want to take that?
What was the question about Polygon? And
it's ChainGuardians on Polygon, BSC, or both?
Yes. So we were the very first NFT project that was on Polygon from 2017 down on the AlphaNet. So we've been super supportive in that ecosystem. For the mainnet, we have now relaunched. That'll be very, very soon, hint. And then our very first character was originally on Polygon, AlphaNet, and we went to BetaNet, and now we're going to go to mainnet. That's actually the specific Mudra character. So obviously, we're also on Binance Smart Chain. We will be on other chain as well. And that's why it's very important that we found a partner which has essentially, in our minds, the most mature and stable technology to move across chain. Because essentially, we believe it's already here, which is the multi-chain, able to move then, as frictionless as possible and as speedy as possible. So I think, in short, we're on all of them. We will be on all of them, yeah. Because we really believe you want to create your character natively on that chain, and then you should be able to move it anywhere.
Yeah, I think a large part of that is that we want to educate people on, cross-chain operability and the use case it can bring, and obviously the different doors it can open. So it's an educational purpose there, as well as, and the reason that we're incentivizing that is that effectively users get familiar with moving things across different chains, but at the same time we'll provide kind of like, like buffs for doing so. Having a character on its native chain, like Binance or on Binance Smart Chain, will provide a power-up in the RPG. Same for Mudra. Existing on the Polygon, network, it will provide a power up to your character in game, both in the NFT mining platform and also the RPG. And it's just that idea of educating and incentivizing the users to actually engage with that.
Nice, nice.
And I don't know if we actually have a few minutes. Actually, I wanted to maybe ask Noi, because if you saw through all the video, we actually have Mixie, and there was another character there you guys have missed out. There's actually one more character, which is the P Portal's Guardian, which we guys may have missed out. I can bring that up. Noi, you want to very quickly talk about Mixie, and do we still have 5 minutes of time or so, Michael?
5 minutes. The pressure's on.
Yeah, it's 5-10 minutes. I mean, that's all good.
Thank you.
Good. Yeah.
I think in general, like I just want to speak about the artwork in general and what ChainGuardians means to me, because I'm kind of like a casual, and I think for crypto to kind of take off is to kind of get adaptation by the casuals, right? So nobody mentioned this, but I think it's a bit arrogant to say, but we want to be the Marvel of the crypto space. And Marvel is humongous. And we're all nerd boys and nerd girls, right? We love this stuff. And to be the Marvel of the crypto universe is such a big deal, I think. So I can cycle through a bunch of my artwork. I can share my screen if you want.
Yeah, do that. That would be cool.
Really, really quickly. I know time is running down.
Yeah. And I think Noise said it like perfectly. There's something much bigger than us that we're trying to strive towards.
Absolutely.
I love that. That
Thanks,
looks great.
Man. Yeah, and I have a huge background. Like I've worked for DC, Marvel, and other big companies, so I've been at this for a long time. I may look very young, but I'm actually super old. It's Asian don't raisin, right? But yeah, yeah, I know. This is Bitsy. She's the personification of a Bitcoin. This is Lolita Lee. She's Litecoin. This is Ethereum, Seth. And we don't stop there. We partner up with big companies as well. Like this is Mudra of Polygon now, which used to be Matic. And this guy here is Hero, which is our Incredible Hulk version of Incredible Hulk. And that is
Decentraland.
Yeah. And you've already seen Binance right here, which is Binance. So we partnered up with the biggest properties, the biggest names in this ecosystem. And I think, like I mentioned before, it's arrogant to say, but I believe in a few years we're going to be the Marvel of the crypto space. I'm super excited. Here's some just initial rough drawings that I've done, just to kind of show you the breadth and the scope of what we're working on and the commitment. Oops, I can't show that. Yeah, and here's some Mixie sketches, and eventually we went with that one right there. So those are the different iterations of it. We have cards. We have I'll show you a Mixie T pose. So we're getting into 3D as well. We're gonna have resin figures. We have merchandise. So this is a big thing, and we've been able to do so much in such short amount of time because of the energy that this team has. It's like we're just a combination of professionals that have been doing this for a very long time. So yeah, look forward to that. I'm super excited where this is going.
I love your designs, man. I love looking at work. I mean, that's part of something I've done in the past, and I think that's I really love the design here, and that's really cool, man. That's
Thanks.
Really cool. So
I'm just super excited about this stuff. So I just hope everybody sees that and supports us. I mean, it's just gonna keep going upwards at this point, I think, even despite these crashes.
Yeah, it's like because it's like hobby passion. We don't know what else we would do. Like even we'll be doing this regardless of what the market is. So
Exactly.
And I think also like just to kind of tack onto that, for those of you that are traders that you invested into projects or whatever, you purchase tokens or whatever it may be, I think the beauty of the NFT space, the beauty of blockchain gaming is that when everything's down, when the chips are down, and it's a little bit like demoralizing and depressing, being involved in like a creative NFT project, blockchain gaming, it just makes everything a little bit more bearable, and it means that you've got something to do and enjoy throughout the bear market. And there's all this new technology to explore. There's all this excitement to gain, and I think that like the NFT and blockchain gaming is here to stay. And it's the proof is in the pudding. You look at these big blockchain, like big game studios are now paying serious attention to this space because provable ownership, the new technology, and the excitement and the possibilities that bring is just infinite. And that you can see that if you look at back when myself and I got involved in the blockchain gaming space, 2017. The artwork and the stories and even the gameplay from then to now is just astronomical, really. And you've got this whole play to earn concept, like passive kind of income, and in some cases even larger income. You look at like what's happened with Axie, for example. People in the in some of the poorer regions of the world are bought themselves houses from playing blockchain gaming. I mean, it's just the possibilities are endless, and it's something to be excited about. It's a community to be involved in, and come and join, come and get involved, and come and enjoy your inner nerd with us, right? Because if you're in blockchain, there's a nerd there somewhere. That's all I'm going to say.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll say that there's a lot here, and I think there's many parts. I would say there's a lot of possibilities, but there's also a lot of traps. Being in game design, I would say it's so easy to say we can make everything an NFT, right?
Yes.
It's those are just words, but in terms of making that design work, right? That's the much harder aspect of it. So starting off, I mean, you guys are starting off with a card game, which is very logical, and then having this type of ownership, and then of course, then in the middle of this, you're gonna go through the design process of how do you balance out a game so it's fun for everyone, whether you're spending, what is maybe the price of a house on a card, or if you're just having a fun time. You have to be able to balance that experience out. So there's a lot of challenges ahead. I'm gonna say that it's not gonna be it's not gonna be a one easy road down, but I think this is where it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest ways to kind of look at that is like to really analyze the space. It's just like every crypto project, right? You look at those that have longevity. Look at those that are building. That have use case. A lot. I never look to talk down about projects. I'm not even going to name any names, right? But it's easy to promise the earth, but much more difficult to deliver it. And I think just look at those that are building, and I'm not just talking about us. There's plenty of others doing it too. And then compare that to another project that you see you like maybe naturally kind of hyped by for whatever reason, and it's like, but what do they have? And I think that that's a fairly decent yardstick to measure it by, because you want to be basically getting involved with things that are going places and are building, as opposed to maybe just kind of promising something.
Very well said, man. Very well said. So I think we should start wrapping up the session here. So should we finish up the segment, and then do you guys want to do some Q&A? So
Great.
I think there was a question earlier that I saw. Let me just figure this out. Let's see. So we got Jalen Tran says ChainGuardians the next Marvel. That'd be cool. We also have a question about VR. So is there any plan to bring this to VR?
Yeah, so I mean, we recently announced a collaboration with Network. One of the kind of one of a few metaverses that have recently shown promise around kind of launching and such. I mean, we've seen some of their early access demos and stuff, which obviously excited us, which may not be too public knowledge at the moment. And you know, they're building quite an exciting VR platform there. Or metaverse, if you like. I think VR in itself is still quite early. There's a lot of really kind of you know, practical obstacles for VR. I mean, a large majority of people get like vertigo and stuff for like spending 5 minutes in there. I mean, I was involved with Decentraland very early on, and originally that was launched with a vision of being VR, and they moved away from that towards a browser-based experience.
For now, it's better for sure. I think I lost your audio just now, but yeah.
Oh, sorry about that. I think I pulled that out.
No problem.
Yeah. So I think it's cool to build out like individual, bespoke, you know, maybe short burst experiences without a doubt, and we're aiming to do that in collaboration with Network. I think for kind of, let's say, building full, exciting, like, you know, games on top of VR, it's still a little bit early for the moment in time. So I think that would be the best answer.
Absolutely. I still have not finished Half-Life Alyx, even though my Oculus Quest is there. I still haven't had, like, I do belong to that very selective group of people where 3D and VR makes me very, very sick. This is my kind of boomer side coming through. So that does take up time. So I think we'll kind of wrap up this episode here, guys. Thank you guys so much for coming up. I know this is a crazy market today. I think a lot of people were asking, but we did kind of address it. We did tell our experience and views about it, and obviously development goes on. I think regardless, I mean, a lot of stuff that is being done in ChainGuardians has been done for a long period of time. It's not something that just, you know, popped up overnight, especially with pNetwork as well. You know, something like that is just such a monumental feat of engineering. Like this type of cross-chain problems, it's not very easy to solve, right? I think it's kind of key to remember here. It's actually quite amazing. We've seen like the first bits of like kind of cross-chain with Wrap Bitcoin, but you know, with pNetwork coming through, you know, I would love to have a discussion, Thomas, with you, with, you know, about both pNetwork and maybe how that distinguishes from Ren Republic. Because you know, there's so many of these solutions coming through. I think it's being kind of cool, but being able to cross that portal, it's not easy. So anyways, guys, folks, thank you guys so much for watching today. Definitely smash the likes. I know the market's recovering a little bit. I've been kind of eyeing the market as we go along as well. Do hit the likes, do smash up the likes. We are recovering, which is great. So as we talk, I think we are up almost $200 on ETH. So we're recovering quite strongly on the market side, which is great. And I hope you guys are safe. So guys, thank you guys so much for coming today. And you know, hit the subscribe, hit the join, check out ChainGuardians, check out pNetwork, and we're here and we're off, and have fun, folks. Cheers.